boys and girls. Are you so excited to continue reading this awesome book? Because I know that I am. Okay, so yesterday we learned all about noses and we learned about ears, right? We learned how different animals use their noses and how different animals use their ears. And then you got to practice answering a question using words from the question, right? So I hope that you're ready to go for today. So we're going to keep reading. And again, you want to make sure you're always paying attention with listening ears and thinking caps on so that way you can learn some new facts, because remember, we're reading a nonfiction book. They're all facts, it's all true, okay? So let's pick up our reading. What do you do with a tail like this? If you're a giraffe, you brush off pesky flies with your tail. If you're a skunk, you lift your tail to warn that a stinky spray is on the way. If you're a lizard, you break off your tail to get away. Yikes. If you're a scorpion, your tail can give a nasty sting. If you're a monkey, you hang from a tree by your tail. That's fun. What do you do with eyes like these? If you're an eagle, you spot tiny animals from high in the air. If you're a chameleon, you look two ways at once. If you're a four-eyed fish, you look above and below the water at the same time. If you're a horned lizard, you squirt blood out of your eyes. If you're a bush baby, you use your large eyes to see clearly at night. Okay, so we're going to stop there. Do you see how this book is just always so exciting? You're always learning some really cool facts. So today we learned all about eyes and we learned about tails, right? And I want to refresh your minds about what we focused on yesterday. Remember how we looked at how the book asks a question? So here, what do you do with a tail like this? And then it answers the question, right? It says, if you're a giraffe, you brush off pesky flies with your tail. Do you see how they used the question words to answer it? In the question, it's asking us specifically what you do with a tail like this. So if you're talking about a giraffe, you want to make sure that you say something about the tail. You really want to be clear what question you are answering. Okay, so today what I would like you to try and do is I want you to write your own question about this book that we just read. And you have to make sure when you're writing your question that you are really thinking about how the reader is going to read it and how they're going to be able to answer it, right? So in our book, how it says, what do you do with a tail like this? It's easy for us to answer that question, and we can use some of those words to answer it, just like we talked about with the giraffe. But what I want you to do, I want you to pick one of the animals we read about today, okay? So I'll give you a refresher. We read about giraffe, skunk, lizard, scorpion, monkey, and then we talked about an eagle, a chameleon, a four-eyed fish, a horned lizard, and a bush baby, okay? So I want you to pick one of those animals that we talked about today, and I want you to come up with your own question about that animal, but make it something that we can answer after reading this book. So an example, I'm going to go back to animals from yesterday, so that way I don't take any of your thoughts. If we go back to yesterday, do you remember when we read about the alligator? And we learned that an alligator breathes through its nose while hiding in the water? Well, if I chose alligator as my animal to write my question about, I could say, how does an alligator use its nose? Right? That would be my question. And then my readers could answer that by saying, an alligator uses its nose by breathing through it while underwater. Do you see how I used my question words to answer my question? and I was able to go back in the reading and find my answer? I hope so. That's what I want you to do, okay? All you're doing is writing a question today, and then your teacher is actually going to answer it, okay? So it's a lot of fun. But you have to make sure that your question follows the reading so that way we can go back and look in the reading and figure out the answer, okay? So like I said, pick an animal that we learned today, and then write a question about it. Make sure we can answer it, and then we'll see if we can. And we'll answer it for you, and we'll show you how to use those question words in our answers. Okay? If you need to go back, by all means, go to back to the front of this video or the beginning of this video to listen to the story again so you can figure out what animal you want to write about. But all you're doing in your Seesaw is writing a question. Don't answer it. Your teacher is going to do that. Alrighty? Have fun writing your questions. Bye, first grade.